Hello everyone, and yet again I'm here to actually do another one. So, here we go. Today's topic is Wild Kratts versus Animorphs. So, I'm trying to figure out who is better when it comes to this, or just listing the advantages and disadvantages for Wild Kratts and for Animorphs. So, let's get started, shall we? So, for Animorphs, what we got is that you have a human host, or whatever, a hero, the Animorph, who actually touches the cube, and as soon as he touches the cube, he has the power to absorb any animal's DNA, and from that DNA, he's able to turn into an animal for 1 hour. That's it, just 1 hour. With that said, basically what he has to do is also keep in mind of what animal that he's trying to change into. Yeah, so he has to keep in mind of what animal he has to change into. The other thing that is very a messed up cough up is that when you do morph, there's a kind of hiccup that can happen. Like, for instance, when you want to actually have on clothes, when you demorph and turn human back into human form, you have to be careful because you can't have shoes on for some weird reason. Heck, you can't, maybe even can't even have socks, because I remember that when you're reading it, you had the first person who went from animal and back to normal, and I think it was Rachel. She actually tried to imagine herself with shoes as well, and then it turned out that she was transformed completely naked. Yeah, completely naked. Of course, you do have to admit, though, when it comes to, of course, this is a kid's book, even though it is kind of graphic still. But it's a kid's book. Technically, when it comes to Animorphs, they should be able to morph without having to worry about their clothes. Technically, when they morph, their clothes should be ripped off and stuff. The fact that when they change back, they can't actually magically have their clothes back on, because it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, do you get what I'm trying to say? It's kind of like the idea of, well, so if I'm able to transform into animal and transform back, does that mean that I can forever reproduce the same clothes I was wearing every single day, or my favorite clothes that I love to wear? So, like, for instance, if I rip my jeans completely, I can morph, then morph back and imagine the jeans unripped. So now I have a new pair of jeans that I love, and they're not ripped. I mean, you see how the messed up cough up of that is? But anyways, yeah, I'm going to stop attacking on Animorphs, because Animorphs is good no matter what. Now you have Wild Kratts. With Wild Kratts, they have they have the technology to, they have power suits that actually allow them to have the creature power, quote unquote, ability of the animal. So they don't turn into the animal, but they're able to do whatever the animal does that is very unique. Like, for instance, for falcons and hawks, they're able to fly very, very fast, or they're able to fly. You also had a lion or cheetah who's able to run very fast. So here's the messed up part. The messed up part of this is that, unlike Animorphs who are able to have, once they touch the animal is completely in them. Yeah, and of course I will have to talk about the other defect of being Animorph, but hey, I'll get to that in a second. So basically with this, you have the power suit, and with the power suit, as long as you have a power disc and you had the DNA, or at least touch the animal with the powers, with the, shut the fuck up. Yeah, with the power disc, if you're able to have the animal with it, or the animal's DNA, or maybe a hair or something, then you're able to actually use the creature power. Other than that, you can't do it at all. It's kind of like, yeah, the Animorphs have like a comparison on that. It's as long as you have the DNA or the power disc. Yeah, so this is the big disadvantage for being a Wild Krat. It's the fact of, you have your power suit, but if you don't have that disc with you, you can't transform. While the Animorphs, it's technically the DNA that they have inside of them, like the small little teeny tiny DNA they have. So yeah, it's kind of like they are not lugging power discs, but you have the Wild Kratts who have to lug power discs. Well, they only did that like once or twice, but still, it's kind of like, yeah. Well, anyways, so here's the thing about the power suits. The power suits apparently can't give out, or at least I can see that they can't give out, because they did that one race episode where they kept on using their creature power, and you need to know that most likely that race, even though it's a 30-minute mark for an episode, chances are it was hours and hours and hours when they were actually running. Chances are. So that means that they're able to actually able to maybe 3 times last than Animorphs, because, well, they're able to use the power suits longer than Animorphs can, because after 60 minutes is up, you're stuck in your whatever animal you're in. That's what happened to Tobias, and Tobias sadly allowed himself to turn into a hawk completely after everything was done. I would technically say someone should have knocked freaking Tobias out, made him change to the human. Made him change to the human form, knock him the hell out, and then as soon as 1 hour is left, then he's completely human. So there we go. I mean, screw him, alright? Because, yeah, we don't want him to have the cube anymore. We don't want him to be a freaking damn bird. He deserves to be human. He doesn't deserve to be a freaking damn bird. He's a damn hero. If no one knows that he's the hero bird / Tobias, the hero, then who's to say that eventually the hunters will shoot him and then they're going to have a Tobias meal? Even though we don't really... Oh, yeah, never mind. I was going to say, we don't really know that Animorphs, when they die, they don't change back to human form. But of course, well, for Rachel, who died, we kind of do see that she doesn't turn back human. Instead, she dies in the form that she was in. So, that's really the drawback of being an Animorph, is the fact that you have to keep your time limit. If you don't know what time it is, or if you can't keep time with how much time is left, then, which is kind of the big flaw of everything, is the fact of they need a lot more than an hour, because I can't really tell you exactly how long an hour is. So I guess they either had to become efficient when it comes to figuring out when's an hour ends and begins, and etc., etc., or at least keep it short. Yeah, keep it kind of short. Let's see. Because Wild Kratts is a very, very good kids show compared to Animorphs, who is technically a graphic novel in a way. Graphic novel meaning that you have blood, you have some guts that you imagine. Yeah, Wild Kratts don't have to deal with any damage or any murder or any gun or wounds that happens. Instead, it's more like they're safe, while Animorphs, on the other hand, they have to... Their wounds, it sucks. Their wounds don't really heal all the way. Kind of like what happened to Ben 10 in the later years. So, when it comes to those two, it's kind of like you can see what's the advantages and disadvantages. I mean, you have Animorphs who, when they want to hide in plain sight, they're able to turn into an animal. But you have Wild Kratts, if they want to hide in plain sight, they kind of either have to be human and do the spy thing, or, yeah, they'll be completely stupid. Well, they have to use the creature power, of course, but it's kind of like they have to always be on the move, because if they're not on the move, then the person will be like, what the hell? Is that some dude in a freaking ostrich suit? Ostrich power suit? But when it comes to like the hour or the time limit, the power suits maybe have a time limit, but it most likely outweighs the time limit of Animorphs. And the Animorphs actually have the worst consequence. Is that, yeah, like I said, if the time limit runs out, they're completely stuck in that form, and they're called a Nothlick. I think that's how they say it. Yeah, of course you could touch the cube again and then turn human, and then you could touch the cube again after you stay human in 30 seconds, and then you could become an Animorph all over again. But for right now, we don't have any recollection or any account on how long can you actually touch the cube, because, well, actually, Tobias didn't even touch the cube. He got like some stupid wizard guy who got to be like, yeah, we're going to change you back. We're going to give you that freaking Animorph power again. Yeah, that's what happened to him. He didn't touch the cube again. So we don't know what happens when you touch the cube again after you're stuck in the animal form. Or heck, we don't even know what happens when animals actually touch the cube. I mean, chances are the animals might have the ability to turn into something, but it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of funny if someone actually attempts to do that. And to get more votes, the Republicans. I'm sorry, but still, that would be funny to get more votes. They basically turn dogs, all the stray dogs, into humans. Wow, they allowed them to stay that 60-minute time limit, and then now they have brand new people, and now they have to register them to vote, and then now they're like, look what we have, more voters. Yes, yes. I'm sorry, it got a little bit political. But yeah, I mean, compared to these two, there is really like some advantages and disadvantages. But when it comes to choosing who is better, it's kind of like it's hard to choose. So I'll let you guys choose. Who is better? The wild Kratts with their power suits, or the Animorphs, the fact that they're able to turn into animals and actually use their abilities without having technology being used. But of course, they do have that 1 hour time limit, and then it's kind of like I don't think the normal human can actually tell you, oh, the time limit's up. The only way out it works is that if they're really, really good with time, or the fact that they're near a TV and they're no like, all right, so it's 10 o'clock right now, and 10 o'clock, what comes on is I can't use that one. Oh, Sesame Street. Yeah, we'll use that. 10 a.m. Sesame Street. Sesame Street lasts an hour, so coming back to a TV and clicking on it all the way to Sesame Street, and I see the credits, I'm like, oh frick! And that's when I run like hell somewhere and demorph and turn back to human. Yeah, you can do something like that. So, oh whatever. Anyways, hey, I'll leave it up to you guys. Who is better, freaking Wild Kratts or freaking Animorphs? Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you guys later. Have a great day.